Hi, I'm Max. I'm from Marystone Equestrian Farm. I manufacture and design MSE Cavassons and bridles. I am a trained medical orthotist and prosthetist. However, I'm no longer working with humans. I've now switched more to the animal side of things. And it has given me unique insight into understanding how bridles and cavessons influence our horse's comfort and the biomechanics of the head, and even how it translates down the fascial lines to affect the gait biomechanics. So that's how these cavessons are designed, and you'll find that no two cavessons that are custom designed are the same, because they take into account the horse's individual anatomy, the horse's preferences, and the rider's preferences. So we really aim to fulfill the needs of the horse and rider as a team. Okay, so before we can actually get to measuring for a MSE Cavasson or bridle, we need to put some reference marks on our horses. And in order to do that, we need to identify some anatomical landmarks and then use those to determine where our reference points or points of measurements are going to be. So the first one we're going to look at, let me just switch to this side, this is your facial crest on the horse with the facial tubercle at the end. A lot of people refer to it as the horse's cheekbone. So we don't want any pressure sitting on a bony point. It is painful for humans, dogs, and horses, and I'm pretty sure every other species known to man. So what we want to do is we want to avoid this area. And in order to do that, we're going to draw an imaginary line straight across the nose from one facial crest to the other facial crest, or the one facial tubercle to the other facial tubercle, for those of you who are struggling to follow cheekbones. And then we are going to find the soft cartilage of the horse's nose, and we're going to divide that into thirds. Now, I like my cavessons to sit on the upper third. You can go down to the midway point, but generally when you're measuring, stick with the shorter point and stay on the third marker line, or the third division. Okay. It often on a horse or a large-headed cob will be about 3 centimeters from the point here to your line here. Okay. Then, so that's your one mark. Yeah. One mark here. Okay. The second mark is going to be about 3 centimeters below the facial tubercle. It gives me enough space to incorporate the strap line, but in some very small ponies, 3 centimeters might end up going beyond the midway point and beyond the line of the mouth. If it does, then obviously we need to raise it higher, and there'll be an area on the form that you're going to fill in that you can note that it's smaller than that 3 centimeters that I usually incorporate. Okay. If you're struggling to measure 3 centimeters down, the other option is to imagine a line going straight up from the mouth, parallel or almost parallel to your facial crest and to the back of the jaw here. And that line is also going to cross your second measurement point. Okay? So now you get to your second measurement point, and for this point you're going to divide the jaw or the jowl into half. It often is a line that comes just behind the eye if you draw it straight up. Okay, so remember this line is drawing from the mouth, and this line, come girl, is bisecting the jowl. So that's your second measurement point. Your third point of reference is the edge of the jaw here, or the border of the masseter muscle, but you'll feel it as a bony edge. And the reason we have this one is we don't want the buckle crossing the joint line, because that is guaranteed to irritate horses. Okay, and so you've only got 3 reference points, but they are 3 on this side and a matching 3 on the other side. And then from there, we take our measurements. Come girl. Look here. Okay, you measure from there, that point, all the way over, and it's 31 centimeters. Okay, can you see that?
Yep.
Great. Okay, now for the circumference of the nose, we're going to go around, making sure we go through our reference points, yeah? And that is 56. Okay, so this measurement is very important. We don't try and cut our horses' noses off, but also that we don't measure sloppy. So you don't want that type of measurement. You also don't want a measurement where you are pulling as hard as you can. That's not going to help us. So you just want it so it's resting lightly against the horse's nose. Okay. For the cheek pieces, we measure from the first measurement, this one, to the second measurement at this one, and it is 15. Okay, you're going to measure both sides to make sure they match. If they don't match, then your reference marks are asymmetrical and your Cavesson will come out skew as well, or it won't fit as well as we hope. So measure both sides. So if this side's 15, this side must be 15. The throat lash is probably one of the easiest measurements to take. So you're going to stand in front of your horse, catch your horse's attention, put your marker there, take it this side, and she is 37.5 centimeters. Remember, units are important. Okay, so this measurement is important because it tells me how far your buckle can go on the Cavesson. We don't want your buckle crossing a joint line, as that will create a pressure point and a lot of irritation for horses. So that's why we've got the mark here to mark the edge of the jaw, and you measure from there down to the intersection there on your second measurement, and that's 10.5. Okay, then your pole piece, you're going to measure from here all the way to this side, and make sure your tape measure's not twisted, and that's 57. Okay, so the pole piece I do measure slightly tighter than the nose band because it's more adjustable. So the worst thing that can happen is the pole piece is too big and then you can't shorten it. But if you measure it a little bit tighter, then there's holes that you can go up and down. So the last measurement is only applicable if you have chosen a shaped pole piece, and that is the measurement between the ears. The reason this measurement is so important is if your shaped pole piece doesn't sit properly between the ears and bumps into the base of the ears, it's actually more harmful to the horse than a straight, flat pole piece. So shaped pole pieces are very good, but only if they fit properly. So you're going to measure from the base here. Okay, Diva's not giving us the easiest toe fit. And I can't see, so I'm going to anchor it with my thumb. And she's 9.5, which I know from experience is a appropriate measurement. It's not too small or too big. If you are struggling to get your horse to let you measure this, you can try putting some food on the ground so their heads drop and measure it while they're eating. The rest of the measurements will be difficult to measure while they're eating, but this one will definitely be easier.